Hey, the Son of the Road Haunts, and today I'm talking about a topic that makes me a little sad. But it is that the Halloween industry today has a huge problem to it. And no, that is not the fact that I ordered Lil Nestor mid-November last year, and he still hasn't shown up to my door. It's February 14th at the time of recording this damn video, and I've called their customer service. They've just said, okay, hold on a second. Okay, so just do the survey to say how we did. All right, bye. And I'd like to know where it is, and it's just so. But that's not what this video is about. I've already wasted too much time talking about that. So, dear Spirit, where's Lil Nestor? He still hasn't arrived. But, anyways, what this problem is, and I think it's very apparent in the last few online only releases Spirit has had, and even the new Morse costumes releases, which I liked at first, but after seeing some criticism, I do definitely agree with. This point really came to light. I mean, it's always been here, with seeing reviews on sneak peeks people have done and stuff. But in my opinion, it really came to light by this video by, forget his name, but it was titled, Is Spirit Halloween Ripping You Off? And I really hate to spoil the video, but the answer is yes. They, you know, they are ripping you off. And so in this video, he compares the 2021 Baphomet to the old Jemmy Dr. Shivers. Now, here's an unpopular opinion I have. I don't really like the old Jemmy props. I think they're weird looking, a little creepy, and I don't mean creepy for the good reasons. I mean eh. Like they're just in the uncanny valley. So I know, have my head on a pitchfork, I don't care. But no matter whether you love these guys or you don't, we can all agree that they were of a better quality back then. Same with old Morbid Enterprises, which had like Spasm, Goblin Dude, Grossferatu, like so many good like latex props back in the day that were just really creepy and well made. And like the Jemmy props, they'd have like full like rounded out bodies from plastic, and they'd be like way cheaper than some of the stuff we have today. So like they were way better back then, of course. But nowadays you don't see that quality anymore very much. It's starting to slip, and worse is that like some of the new Morse costumes Halloween 2020 stuff, or 2022, sorry. Um it just, they're starting to slip into originality a lot. And I think one of the big delusions they have is that bigger is better. I get it. I like a good big prop. Mr. Dark, who jumps from 5 foot to 9 foot, amazing. Cool. That's great. Maybe like Mr. Howl here and there, large 7 foot giant werewolf. Sure. Home Depot 12-foot skeleton. Yeah, it all makes sense, right? Like sometimes bigger is better. But I found in their lineup that there are only like two or three props out of like the seven they've shown that can easily fit inside a house. My ceilings are around 8 foot, and my room could just barely fit Mr. Howell in. And apparently he's 7 foot. So to see that most of these animatronics are like 8 foot or more, or like the graveyard host, they took a perfectly good and cool animatronic and like they just had to make it 10 foot for no reason. It's like at this point, where are you gonna fit him? It just doesn't make sense. It's another problem with the hulking werewolf, which I do find really cool, but it just feels like they're trying to put minimal effort into something, make it huge for no reason, and sell it for $500, which I think is a big problem. But anyways, so we've established that quality is going down and prices are going up. And oh god, are they going up. So let's take a gander, little look at some of the more recent animatronics that have been pretty not great with this. So the first one does come from the Morris Costumes lineup. The first couple actually. And the and they are the ones that include pumpkins. Don't get me wrong. I like the Rotten Harvester. I think he's a cool concept. I like how he looks. But one problem I have is that the pumpkin he has is just glistening so much. It's like, oh my god. It it has the light of the sun or whatever and shouldn't even be glowing. Like that's what it's it looks plasticky, it looks cheap, and it doesn't look proper at all. It doesn't look, doesn't look like a real pumpkin. Another real big offender of this is probably the Pesky the Clown. This is probably my least favorite animatronic from that lineup. I know some people like him, but it's just so blatantly a lazy attempt to try and cash in on an already bad animatronic they had, which was the Big Top Clown. And they just had to make him bigger for no reason. Only side head movement, mouth movement, which I do agree with. I forget who said it, like Connor Johnson Frights. I could be entirely wrong. But like mouth movement should be on almost every prop, so that's like you can barely count that anymore. Same with glowing eyes. But it's just not there for like it's so lazy and like they're just trying to cash out. And so I could go on with this for days, and this probably will be a longer video. But the next offender on this list we have, okay, squeakers, please don't come after me. And I know I sound like a hypocrite for saying this, but even in my original like unboxing of him, I say this: Wacky Mole 2020-21. This guy's overpriced for no reason. So the original one was $200, which, again, I don't think is a terrible price, but it's whatever, you know? It's not terrible, but he's $30 more now, which is just so, like, useless. There's no reason for him to cost that much, because they didn't add anything new. They just like did a little bit of a touch up, and he's $230. Like this, it's really overpriced, and he doesn't even have mouth movement, just pivots at the waist. So it's just really questionable for why they'd make him more expensive. Now, some of you guys would probably argue, well, because nostalgia points. But it's important to recognize that not everyone was back at Spirit in 2013. Not even I was. But it's just, even if for nostalgia points, that's no reason to tack on an extra $30. It's This is the baseline movement you can get for an animatronic. It's kind of ridiculous, the pricing. The next one is Jack Stalker, which is another one that's so goddamn overpriced. Sorry if I keep saying like goddamned or whatever, if you're annoyed with that kind of stuff, but whatever. It's just what I do. But it's something he's like $450 on one of the websites out there. And he's just like a big 7 foot tall animatronic. His pumpkin is kind of unique. And I do think it's a kind of cool concept. But again, it has the same problem that, like, the other Morris Costumes ones on this list have had. Where the the pumpkin just looks plasticky. It looks cheap. It doesn't look realistic. You know? And it just... And also, can we talk about this for a second? Jack Stalker, which is the one without the legs, is around $350. And Prowling Jack is more than that. And he doesn't even have a full, like, like, robe. He just has legs. Like, what is this black magic frickery? There's no reason to, like, if if one thing, Jack Stalker should cost more. It's just tacking on more dollars for zero reason at all. It's just I do like him, but he's just so overpriced. I do feel like recently with the Morse costumes and animatronics, there have been so many like cool ones that have just had a part that totally tarnishes them. And the next one, as I brought up in that video I mentioned earlier, of Is Spirit Halloween Ripping You Off, is Baphomet. He does look really cheap. I'll give him you that. I do really like him, but it's just the problem is that you can tell his jaw and stuff is plastic. He has, thin clothing, and he's $300. Like, even back in 2016, you'd see him for, like, $250 even, maybe. It's just really, like, outrageous, and why is he so expensive? But, I've been very negative recently. So what can we do to fix this, right? Well, we've already seen some good examples of this. So the first one is better design, more bang for your buck. I think we should have more realistic, less cheap-looking animatronics. A good example of this is Evelyn Leach. Again, she's pretty overpriced. Her animation is lackluster, but again, you gotta admit she has a pretty realistic-looking face. Like, it's nothing to joke about. And I do believe Spirit's budget ran out at that point because, the zombie head she's holding looks questionable. But, it's a good attempt. And I guess another possible good thing is Dr. Illume recently. Because his face actually looks pretty realistic in my opinion. And I do feel like Spirit props are getting a little more gory and disturbing, as we've seen with our new Valentine's release, which I probably will cover in this video. Maybe not. I don't know. But, Dr. Illume looks more realistic, He looks like an actual person, kind of. The next one is better, more durable animation. And we've seen examples of this. Like Grimm, for example. He uses servo motors and has 6 movements. His price is not great, albeit, but we're getting there. We're getting to the point that, we're getting better animation. And we have the Servo Witch, too. But knowing it's Morse costumes, I have no respect for the fact that it's going to be $300. Like the Soothsayer, goddammit. I should have put that on the list for bad. But the Soothsayer... Okay, let's think about this. Peekaboo Clown was something like $220 or $230. He was 6 foot tall. He had a decent animation, and he had digital eyes too. He was a decent price at $230, and the Soothsayer is 5 feet tall, has digital eyes as well. Doesn't even look very good, and it's $300. What the hell? Like. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Let's go back to the positives. So yeah, as I've said, Grimm and the servo motors are a really good example of this. I believe another one is Mr. Dark, as I brought up, because Techie Design usually makes their animatronics out of, pure plastic, really. But Mr. Dark has, like, a metallic scissor mech and, like, metal gears, which, I mean, you could argue is because, he, pops up 9 feet. And to that I say, shut up, stop bringing logic into conversations with me. But, still, it's good that we're seeing proper, metal and stuff. And that's really good. And another thing is lower prices, or at least more bang for your buck, And I think a really good idea, a good case of this is Two Scoops, which I swear, when he first came out, I thought that his price was marked wrong. Like, there's no way something 7 foot tall, that big, with two heads, was $230. But alas, it is. That's a really good price for what you get, considering like Baphomet or something nowadays. Like that's good. That's real good. And we just gotta see better prices for stuff. Like if they bring back Barnyard Butcher, keep him at the $200, or maybe like 210, not like an insane amount. These props need to be better quality, and like I found myself thinking, oh, don't blame the companies if your animatronic breaks. Sometimes it just happens. But really, I gotta acknowledge the fact that if you pay $300 for something, it shouldn't have a chance of like, oh yeah, might be broken. That's not a problem. So yeah, I they gotta do better. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not gonna end this video with patting Spirit on the head and Morph's costume saying, "Good job, you did good." It's like it's good. I don't care about your problems, cause no, this is a serious issue and like haunting in my opinion. Like the animatronics are so cheap and are getting lazily made, even with their concepts. So yeah, I know this video was just an angry rant, things I threw together. Oh, and by the way, let's go back to Jerry, which was the new 2022 sneak peek, again from the previous year and carried over like Dr. Loom. I found this guy cool at first, and he is like a more gory Halloween prop, which is good. Like cutting his arm off with the axe. I think that's cool, but this is another really cheap prop. It's 5'4", which is like it's really short, and there's not much problem with an animatronic being short. But considering it's $200, is like whoa. It just tilts side to side. Its eyes light up, and his clothes look cleaner than clean. They're all they're pristine. They're beautiful. They're like that's not how animatronic clothes should look. It's just I don't know. He's really cheap in my opinion. But yeah, closing segment. I think Spirit Halloween should make their animatronics, little more higher quality. So yeah, like and subscribe if you're new. If you made it this far, please spread the message because Spirit listens to their fans. And if we keep talking about this, then eventually they're gonna do something about it. So yeah, bye.